Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, the Bronson Sky Library. So I don't know if I'm breaking up the two videos between, like, if I'm going to have a video in between these two videos or if I'm doing these two videos back to back. But I remember in one video I shared that I was going to share with all of you guys my mini reviews of the books that I've read in the past 8 to 10 months. And so this is the second part to that video. I'm going to be sharing the last 4 books that I have read within that time frame. And yeah, so I guess without further ado, I will tell you all about the books that I read, or the last 4 that I've read. The first one the first 2 I'm going to talk about together. So because they are part of a duology, and that would be Foul Days and Monstrous Nights by Genoveva, no, not Genoveva, Genoveva Dimova. Genoveva Dimova. Dimova. I think it's Dimova. Genoveva Dimova. Anyway, I don't know. I am so sorry to Jen. I think she might go by Jen. Anyway, she follows me on Instagram, and I think that's so cool. Because, you know, I followed her, and then she followed me back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, a celebrity. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, that's what I read. Foul Days was really good, and Monstrous Nights was really good. I think they are equal in likeness for me. So, I'm going to talk about them together. I don't know, I just adored both of these books a lot. I really liked the Slavic folklore, because I think that's where the author is from, and she pulled that folklore and the way she grew up into her books, and the stories that she grew up with, she used them in these books, and I thought it was really cool. I thought the Slavic folklore was super interesting, and they're basically ow, girl, stop biting my foot. She's the cat is grabbing my foot, ow, and pulling my foot so she could bite it. Stop it. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so these books is basically about monsters. I think every New Year's Eve there's a certain amount of days where monsters come out, and everybody in the town goes and hides inside, and these monsters are just roaming about, and they are similar to the monsters are similar to vampires and werewolves and stuff like that, but just with more of the Slavic part of it, and it's really cool. I don't know, I just really liked that aspect of these 2 books. I also really enjoyed the characters. I think Kosara is a really great character. I really enjoyed her, and I also really enjoyed our other main character, which for some reason I am totally forgetting his name right now. But let's see if I can. Asen. That's his name. I remember now. But, oh, hi cat. But I really liked those 2, and I liked their dynamic with each other. I thought their banter was really fun, and I thought that they made a great pair with one another. Are you gonna jump? She's crazy. This kitty's crazy. Anyway, so I thought the 2 main characters... Ow! What? No. No, don't do that. This is gonna be a fun video. A fun video to edit. Oh my gosh. But I do remember reading oh my gosh! I do remember reading some reviews and negative reviews on these books, and I think someone said that these 2 characters are very unlikable, and great. Like, I just remember they felt relatable to me, and I felt like the banter between them was a relatable, like, banter, because it's like a very slow burn romance between these two. At least, hopefully that's not a spoiler. But it's a very, like, slow burn, and I think I really enjoyed that aspect of this series, of these books, because usually it's like, or like, sometimes I feel like in books it's like, okay, I either don't like you and then all of a sudden a switch and, oh, I love you or something. But like, this was just like very slow moving, and I really enjoyed that. And also I just felt like it was very natural to me, just the way they talked to each other, the way their romance bloomed. It just felt very natural. So I really, really enjoyed that. I also really liked the atmosphere and the vibe of this whole story and of these two books. I think the Slavic folklore really, really worked well for the atmosphere of this book. Like, the way the author wrote the atmosphere and just like wrote her descriptions and just like the way the monsters are, I felt very immersed into the world, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that, yeah, just the vibes were like vibin'. I know that might be such a dumb line to say. Yeah, the vibes were vibin', but they really were. I just like, it was like my kind of vibe. Like, I really like Halloween type stuff and like monsters and ghosts and stuff like that. And this really, really, really paid off for me because of the monsters and just like the atmosphere of like the spooky Halloween vibes were definitely in these two books, and I just really, really, really liked it. And honestly, I think these books are just like equal. I think they are both equally as good as one of the other. I remember saying what I gave as like a star rating, even though I usually don't give star ratings, but I think I gave these both 4.7 out of 5 stars, 4.75 out of 5 stars on Fable and Storygraph. So if I did a rating out of 10, I might put, I don't even know, like 8.5. They were good. They were solid. And debut. I was hoping I was holding up Foul Days. I'm pretty sure this is a debut, and it was really good for a debut. So I think y'all should pick the duology up. And plus, duologies are nice. Like, having just 2 books in a series, yeah, solid. Alright, and then the next book that I read was one that I actually read recently, and that was If We Were Villains. I've talked about this in a couple of my other videos. I don't know if many people have actually watched those videos, so if you don't know how I feel about it, stick around, because, yeah, anyway, If We Were Villains. This is a murder mystery, and I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I don't know what I gave this, like, I think I gave it a 4.75 out of 5, or maybe, like, y'all, I'm very generous with my ratings, okay? I don't know, but the characters were stupid. So it's basically about a bunch of Shakespearean theater nerds, because they're going to like Shakespearean college or like theater. They're majoring in theater at like this specialty college, and they are doing lots of plays, and like they're in their senior year, and there's only like a handful of them, not very many, in the program anymore because it's a very competitive program. But all of a sudden, one of their classmates, who happens to be a really big dick, he ends up dying, and they have to figure out what happened. People say it's an accident, but then we are getting the story from the character Oliver, who has recently just got out of prison after like 10 years for like good behavior or something, and he's finally ready to talk about what really happened. So he's telling the person who put him away into prison, he's finally telling him, that detective, exactly what happened. So we're getting like the present and past, but we mostly get past like POV. And I really liked it. My brother has read it, and he felt as if the ending was like not, it was kind of lackluster for him, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, the characters were kind of stupid, but I think that's what made me really like this book, because kind of like with Voyage of the Damned, like the book that I talked about in my other video, it was just so fun, like learning about like the mystery as I went and kind of interacting with the book as I read along. But also, not only that, I also grew up with theater parents, so like my parents are theater actors and directors, and so I'm just like around that a lot. And so, why are you crying, girl? And so I really liked the book because of that as well. And it was fun to see all of the Shakespeare references and see all of the performances they did. I really liked how the author wrote in their like Shakespeare performances. And it was just really fun to read a bunch of theater nerds. I wrote down in my notebook that I love the dramatics. I love the theater nerdiness. And I also wrote that I really enjoy the academia style. Oh my gosh, girl. You. Oh. This is going to be fun to edit. So yeah, I really liked this book. I thought it was fun. It's not for everybody, I would say, definitely, especially if you are not if you're not a theater person. Sorry, the cat is just, she attacked herself in the mirror, so that was fun. But yeah, that's If We Were Villains. Oh my gosh. Why are you attacking my foot unprovoked? Like, ow! Like, I did nothing for you to attack my foot. It was just there. Oh my gosh, this child. Alright, and then the most recent book that I read and finished was The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah, right? Kristin Hannah? Yeah. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And the reason why I gave this one like a 4 out of 5 was because even though I really enjoyed it, there were just some pacing issues I think I had with the beginning of the book. I just felt like there was too much in the beginning, and I think we needed more of what we got in the like second half of the book. Because like the first half, I think it was just way too long and like too much information that wasn't really needed. And I also struggled I just struggled liking Isabel at first. She was just so harsh on Vianne. And I understand that Vianne wasn't the greatest sister when they were younger, but I also think Isabel is just, I know she's like 19 at the beginning, and she's just not willing to like try to understand where her sister is coming from, and it was just pissing me off because I was like, girl, you need to understand where your sister's coming from. And I really connected to Vianne. Well, I think I connected to Isabel too, because like Isabel and I are both we're both stubborn, and I think also that's probably why I struggled with her, because I'm like, girl, stop being so stubborn. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of me, isn't it? Like, I am also stubborn, and she's very independent, and I'm also very independent, and so independent and stubborn combined, like a combination of those two, just not the greatest. And I was just like, oh my gosh, girl. Anyway, combination of independence and stubbornness can get very annoying in a character, because that's me. But it still, like, bugged me that she just wouldn't understand her sister and where she was coming from. She just was, like, super mean about it. And so, and then also, like, for some reason, at first, like, her storyline just wasn't captivating me. Vianne's storyline, however, was captivating me a lot more than Isabel's. And I just remember there was, like, a huge chunk where it was, like, nothing but Isabel. And then we got, like, an itty bitty thing of Vianne. And then back to Isabel. And I was just like, ugh. Like, Vianne's story is a lot more interesting to me. And so I struggled with it. And the pacing issues just made it so it just didn't... Because, like, that huge chunk of Isabel and then a little bit of Vianne was part of the problem. A part of the, like, pacing problem that I had. Where I was like, oh my gosh, this is going so slow. I want to get back to the story that I actually do care for. But I will say that once we got to the second half of the book, it was phenomenal from there. I really enjoyed the rest. I, like, started to like Isabel a lot more. I started to... Girl, stop playing with that. Yeah, so I started by halfway through the book. I started to, like, stop it! Whew. Sorry about that. I genuinely do not remember where I left off. But anyway, by the end of the book, I really did enjoy the rest of it. So, I thought that Isabel's... Sorry. This freaking cat. She's so funny. She's in a very playful mood right now. Oh my gosh, this cat. So yeah, by the end of the book, I just really started to enjoy Isabel's character, or like, well, her character, but also her storyline as well, and then also Vianne's was still good at that point too. So I really did love this book, and I did, like, sob by the end. I thought it was beautiful. I loved how it takes place in World War II, but it doesn't really revolve around the soldiers as much as it does revolve around two sisters and, like, women in World War II. I think the thought of having it between these two women in World War II was, I think, brilliant. Instead of, again, I repeat myself constantly, but I just really liked that aspect, that it was about the women. And yeah, I think that is basically it for The Nightingale. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was an amazing story, just some pacing issues. And yeah, that's all of the reviews. Those are, like, that's the rest of the books. I am currently reading The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson, and I might be picking up another book soon, so keep an eye out. Alright, if you like any of these books, let me know. If you've never read them, read them, chat with me, comment, like, subscribe if you want, and I will see you in my next video. Alright, bye! Okay, Taki. She's like a child. Oh wait, she is a child.